Maniacs, it's Hillmanator, and as you may have guessed, I've moved home. That's right, university has officially ended, and I have packed up and headed back over here to get ready for what will hopefully be a new adventure. This exchange scheme that I'm on means that this video will be the last one that I upload while still in the UK, which is odd, I'll admit, but I'm sure I'll handle it fine. Anyway, I wanted to talk, seeing as I've just finished university, about the very start of it, and I figured what better way to do that than talk about Freshers Week. I know a number of you was just about to start university, and so I figured this might give you a bit of an idea about what to look forward to, and maybe what to avoid if you're of certain dispositions, I don't know. Luckily I nicked these sheets from my flat, which are the timetable of Freshers events, so I should be able to remind myself and then tell you about it. Throughout most of Freshers Week there isn't anything in the mornings, because usually you've had a night out beforehand, or a lot of you have, so it just doesn't make sense to do. It arrived sometime between 9 AM and 5 PM. I think we arrived at about 10, but technically we weren't supposed to get our keys up till about 12. They let us into Pendle rooms to get them anyway at 11, but yeah, it was a very weird experience just going in, following the line, being given a fresher's wristband and directed towards my keys. In case you're wondering what that beeping was, there's a machine over there which occasionally beeps. I'll try to edit it out. But following that, we went over to the Great Hall on campus and we had a bit of a welcome talk. They introduced us to the current JCR, or student team essentially, and also to the executive officers in Pendle College, and I think we also met the Dean of the Uni. I can't exactly remember, but it was just kind of a long talk about basic stuff, basic information that we might need. Following that, it was around 6:30 and we went over to Pendle rooms again, because now they were doing a freshers meal, which for us was some soup, and the original idea was that they had bread with it, but they soon ran out of bread, so I ended up having soup tortillas. It actually tasted pretty good, who would have guessed. We reached the first night of Freshers, and as I'm sure many of you will be aware, alcohol is inherently involved in a lot of late night Freshers events. In the evening on Sunday we had from 9 PM until whenever, they didn't give an exact ending time, the basement party, Millennium Edition, which was alright. We went in there for a bit and they played some decent songs, but I think we ended up going over to the university nightclub Sugar and partying the night away in there. Now throughout that day as well, we also met our flatmates. We were supposed to come up with like rules of the flat together and all of this lot. We never did, but things seemed to work out alright without them. So from 1 to 2 PM on Monday we had the Meet Your Course Mates, which was in Pendle rooms, so you met all of the course mates that were in Pendle College, which was fun because the floor was sticky from all the alcohol the night before, and also it was difficult to find people from my course because I wasn't doing one of the major courses that everyone at the uni does. So a lot of people found everyone very quickly and made groups, but for me it took me about 10-20 minutes to find someone who was doing a subject that I was doing, and then I actually found another guy as well, and we kind of just hung out there for a little bit, got to know each other a bit, and I've actually made pretty good friends with them. I've stayed friends with them the entire year. Between 4:30 and 6 there was the Minor Fair in the Great Hall. Now most unis probably don't do this because most unis don't have a minor system, at least in the UK, but Lancaster does, and so we went in, had a look around at each subject. Basically everyone wanted us to pick their subject, and we were essentially just wandering around trying to look, and quite a lot of people didn't know anything about the subjects, but the good thing about a minor is that you don't necessarily have to, especially in first year. Unis throughout first year essentially treat you as if you know like nothing, and then they bring you up to A-level knowledge within 1 year. Then Monday night there were 2 events going on which you could choose to go to. You could either go to the games night, which basically board games, card games, all of that sort of stuff, pretty standard things, or you could go for the big night out with Bowland College and Furness College. I did neither, because there's another thing that I forgot to tell you about earlier. There was a thing which isn't on here, which is the Meet Your Majors thing, where essentially we go to a lecture theatre at some point throughout the day, and we meet a couple of academics, we meet a couple of people on our course, and we just sit there and they tell us a bunch of stuff about the basics of the course and, you know, get us all used to the idea of it. And they had said that we had reading to do, and also we had to do it before tomorrow because we had a little kind of test seminar thing. So I stayed in doing the reading. Wasn't useful because we never brought it up tomorrow. It was the first week's work of reading, and I had just wasted a night in Freshers Week sitting in the kitchen doing reading. It was fun though, because we were doing prees that night in our flat, and everyone else in my entire block was in my kitchen, but I didn't like studying in my room. I preferred studying in the kitchen. So I was in there and I was just trying to get on with my reading, and I was doing pretty well at it, but every time people would always be like, how can you focus in this? Which would pull me out of it. So people asking me questions was my major problem. On Tuesday, as I said, there was the mini seminar things that we went to, where I thought we had to do the reading, we didn't, and so that was a bit irritating, but other than that, the seminars were great. We learnt quite a bit in that one actually. It was all just basic terms and whatnot, but very helpful, and it did allow us to get to know other people who were doing the same thing. Unfortunately, basically we were divided up into exactly which majors we were doing, and everyone else who was doing philosophy and religion all decided to change to do ethics, philosophy and religion, which essentially means that I was the only person in Lancaster University doing my course last year. But on top of that, they also ran a castle trip to Lancaster Castle between 5 and 7. I didn't go to that. I didn't go to any of the castle trips because I was basically convinced that I was going to explore there myself. And I did have a little look around over the year, but never went in really. So maybe you should go along with the trips that they set up for you. And then Tuesday night there was a game of Twisted Bingo in Dalton Rooms, and Glow was open, which is the back half of Dalton Rooms, and we all went there. I think that was the night we decided that we were going to have glitter as a big part of the thing, so all of us had like glitter tattoos and whatnot, and yeah, it was actually pretty cool. We did some karaoke while we were there. That went well, as I'm sure you can imagine. Yeah, chaos ensued, but in general it was a pretty good night. Then on Wednesday there was the town trip, where we went into town, we got the essentials that we needed if we hadn't already got them, which most of us had because we collected them while our parents were still here. Good tip there, get your parents to do your dirty work for you. But we essentially just went looking around town, making sure that we knew what was in the area. I did manage to pick up the first season of Joey on DVD while I was out, which was pretty good actually. I went back and watched it. It's not actually that bad. It's just not as good as Friends. And then there was an event between 3:30 and 4:30 called UniSmart, which was in the Great Hall, which was supposed to introduce you to university life and all of this lot. I didn't bother going, we were in town at that time, and we just all stayed in town because it made our lives easier. Wednesday night, once again, you had two choices, where one was alcoholic, one wasn't, although you could make the second one alcoholic if you wanted to. The first one was the charity shop social, which occurred in Generation, and that one, essentially you had to go wearing something you bought in a charity shop that day in town. None of us went to that, I don't think, in my flat. A couple of people from other flats that I know went, but we didn't. The thing we decided to go to was the movie night that they had running. We ended up watching Black Panther on that particular occasion, although on another movie night that they ran, we watched Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and we more or less perfectly quoted it throughout the entire way through, which suggests to me that we've watched it not enough because we didn't get it 100% perfect. Then comes Thursday and the Freshers' Fair, which actually goes on for 2 days at Lancaster. I only went on the Thursday, I think. No, I tell a lie, I went on both days. But that was mostly because they were giving out free Domino's pizza slices. Editing Josh here, and apparently my camera decided partway through that it had had enough and just wanted to turn off. And I didn't realise precisely how much time I wasted talking to thin air. But it was a considerable amount. Anyway, I'm just going to cover what I was saying about the Freshers' Fair now. I spent a while looking around at the societies that were there. They all wanted me to join because obviously if I join, they make money. And one society that had a lookout for me in particular was the Cheerleading Society. I guess my big brawny figure is just so appealing. And yeah, so now you join me talking about Saturday night because a lot missed. Sorry if the camera angle changed, my camera just ended so I had to restart it. Pendle Saturday Night Takeaway, where I'm pretty sure it was like a game show kind of thing, but related to university somehow. And then there was also P for Pendle versus C for Cartmel, where everyone in Pendle College had to dress up as something with a P, everyone in Cartmel College had to dress up with something with a C. I went as a version of Harry Potter, but I went as a kind of dark Slytherin version because I have a Slytherin scarf, so edgy. And then on Sunday there was really only one event that actually was worth anything, which was the Survivors Clinic, where essentially they just gave us free food again, just to make sure that we had actually managed to live through Freshers Week and to congratulate us for managing it. And then in the evening we had the Pendle pub quiz, with just a classic pub quiz, pretty standard, pretty boring. I think we came middle of the pack. It was alright. There were some pretty tough questions in there, so I don't know. I think that's the only pub quiz that we went to this entire year. So those were all the events that occurred during my Freshers Week at Lancaster University. Or rather, all the ones that actually filmed. Hopefully that's informative to those of you who are going to be going to university, and now you know roughly what Freshers Week might look like. For those of you who aren't going to university, I hope that you enjoyed this as well. Don't know why you're watching it, but good on you for learning. Anyway, I need to start getting ready for studying abroad, so I'm going to have to cut it off there. Okay, thanks for watching all. I shall catch you next time.